Hi everybody, this is Shasta Trailer Project Part 11. Yes, you heard right, that's 11 with 2 1s. Let's get to it! Today I'm going to work on building the interior walls that form the closet and also house the refrigerator and heater. Here's how this corner looked when we began this project. I'll use these pictures, along with what remains of the original wall, to rebuild that section of the trailer. Using these two pictures, I've been able to measure to determine the proper placement of the new wall, and I've started cutting the boards that will form the outer frame. I've cut the first few pieces of this interior wall, and now I'm going to attach some scrap pieces of plywood at the joints so the angles don't move. Aligning this vertical piece is a little bit tricky. I can't use a level because the trailer isn't level. Rather, I need to ensure that it's perpendicular to the trailer's floor. To do this, I'll harken back to my high school geometry days and a little thing called a 3-4-5 right triangle. The characteristics of a 3-4-5 triangle are legs of 3 and 4 units long and a hypotenuse of 5 units long. If all of these criteria are met, this will be a right angle, or in other words, a framing stick that's perpendicular to the trailer floor. I've placed my frame against this interior wall so I'll have a place to mark, and from the base where my vertical piece will attach, I've measured 30 inches out this way and 40 inches up this way. To complete the triangle and make my reference point, I'll use a stick with a mark drawn at 50 inches. Now I can place the stick next to the mark that I made and attach it at the bottom. Now I just need to put a cap on it. I've finished mocking up the perimeter framing for this wall, and the last thing I want to do before I take it outside to finish it is test fit and attach this header board. I decided to reuse this piece from the original wall because I don't have a 1x6 on hand that I could cut this shape out of, and I also thought that this curve would already be cut to match the contour of the ceiling. It's pretty close. I had to tune it up just a little bit right here and right here, but now it fits just splendidly. I'm using this stick as a guide to ensure that my header stays parallel to the floor. Now I can take this whole assembly outside. Now I'll just flop this onto the wall panel. Line it up on the plywood. Put the staples. Flip it over carefully. Install some screws from the other side. I really didn't need to put that glue there. Now I'll cut it out. Now that I can see the outline of the wall, I can install a few more screws. I'm working on framing the opening for the refrigerator in this wall. The refrigerator that came with the trailer is this vintage gas-electric Dometic automatic defrost unit. It's a nice fridge, but I'm unsure of its working condition. I have it plugged in and it's been percolating for a few hours now, and it seems to be getting cooler, but I'm not sure that it's up to the performance level that I may demand of it while traveling. So I checked out new refrigerators and I was shocked and appalled at the price. They're over $1,000. I'm not going to spend $1,000 on this travel trailer. I may not even like traveling. So what I'd like to do is, just for the time being, install the Dometic with the option of upgrading to the newer refrigerator. The trouble is the newer ones are about an inch taller. But to facilitate this discrepancy, I've got an ace in the hole. I've framed an opening that's large enough for the newer, taller refrigerator, but I also have a shim that I can screw in right here and then make a cutout of this size, which incidentally is the correct size for my original equipment refrigerator. Then in the event we like the RV life and we're ready to upgrade our refrigerator, I can take this out, shave off this little portion of plywood here, and no one will be the wiser. That's the first good idea I've had in longer than I care to tell you. Okay, I've finished building this wall, complete with adjustable refrigerator cutout, and I'm moving on to this next section. Last night I was confronted with a very uneasy situation. As I've mentioned before, I'm very worried about the wet weather that's coming up in the next few weeks, and last night it really hit home. Have a look. Well, this is what I've been afraid of. It's late and it's raining, and the tarp that I bought isn't quite big enough to cover everything, so I'm going to have to do some emergency waterproofing. Really need to get some siding on this thing, but I can't do that until I've installed cabinets because I attached them from this side. Well, that'll have to do for now. I suppose it's better than nothing. I'll throw a lid on this stove too because I might reuse that. Just hope the wind don't pick up. So I need to get this trailer waterproof as soon as possible. My lovely blue tarp, while sufficient for minor moisture, doesn't stand a chance against a major downpour. But before I can install the siding, I need to build all of the interior walls and cabinets because many of them attach from the outside. So I need to kick this project into high gear, floored, going downhill. So this section of the wall consists of the other side of the door frame and a cabinet that houses the furnace and some drawers. The only considerations I have for this area are to ensure that the outlet for the furnace is centered between these two boards and that this side of the wall is perpendicular to the floor of the trailer. So I've done a little bit of measuring to ensure the furnace is placed where it needs to be, and I'm also using my trusty 3-4-5 triangle to make sure that this side of the wall is straight. I'm happy with the way it fits, so now I'll take this outside and build the other portion of this wall. I've finished building the walls for this combination outhouse mechanical room, and I'm ready to start installing them. I'll begin with this panel, which I will attach at the front edge with some screws driven in from the outside of the trailer, at the bottom with some screws into the floor, and at the top with some screws driven into the side of this board, which I have attached to the ceiling supports. So here we go! Wood-boring African beetle? No. Heavy-handed rotozip. I have the top of the wall against this board, and I also have some lines drawn so I can properly line up the rest of the wall. Okay, my magic number from the exterior wall to the inside of this wall is 22 7/8, and that's close enough for this old country boy. Check the bottom as well. I've just about got this panel into position, but I want to share something with you. In addition to using my fancy pants math calculations to figure out a right angle, I can use the factory cut corner of one of my pieces of plywood as a reference to a 90-degree angle. Looks like that door's pretty straight there, dear. So let's put some screws in this thing before it decides to hop away. I love these roomy accommodations already. Lined up in there? Okay, this piece is secure, so now we can move on to the next portion of the wall. This panel will accommodate a couple of drawers and the heater. Okay, let's put up this wall and make this into a room. I won't lie, this is the third time I've tried installing this wall. There was an error in my calculations and it was just a little bit too tall. Looks like it'll work now. Okay, looking good, looking good. This corner is tied together. Now to secure this side of the wall to the trailer, I'm going to drive some screws in from the exterior. Because of questionable materials, engineering, or possibly workmanship, a slight bow has developed in this exterior wall, and I'm hoping that along with attaching these two walls together, the screws that I install from the outside will also straighten up this exterior wall. I think that looks much better. So now the interior and exterior walls are built, and I like this little room. I don't think I'll be putting a jacuzzi tub or king-size bed in there, but it looks like a good place for Harry Potter anyway. Thanks for watching.